What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Alright, so, still a little bit early. Still really early, actually. We're nowhere near primary season 2024, so these polls don't really mean too much right now. But they can be an early warning sign. So I decided to go ahead and do a video talking about this. Now, there was a poll, I forget which one it was, but there was a poll I saw last month. I think it was right before the Super Bowl, that had Trump beating Biden one-on-one. So I'm going to put a link to this article in the pinned comment in the comment section below. There's an Emerson College poll where Trump once again is beating Joe Biden one-on-one. So according to this poll, even though Joe Biden has a slight edge against the other leading Republican candidates, Nikki Haley, who I think has only a snowball's hell in chance. Matter of fact, she doesn't even have a snowball's hell in chance of winning the nomination. And of course, Trump's main competitor for the nomination, of course, being Ron DeSantis. Biden beats both of them, but once again, Trump bests Biden 46% to 41%. And that's about the margin I saw in the other polls, something like that, 47, 43, something to that effect. And what makes this different is, remember, in all of 2020, for the most part, Biden had a solid to sometimes even approaching near landslide lead, if not landslide lead in some polls against Trump. Remember, there were some polls that had Biden up 14, 15 points in the popular vote, only for him to win the popular vote by 4 points. So those polls were really skewed when it came to Democratic support. And you got to remember, in 2020, there was a lot of things going against President Trump. The economy was in this shitter. We were going through COVID. Just a bad time in this country. Civil unrest, the George Floyd thing, all types of stuff, right? There's a lot of things that was going on that were in the Democrats' favor. And when you look at it, Biden pretty much underperformed on Election Day. It was speculation that he was going to carry Florida. He didn't. There was some speculation that Texas was going to be tight. It wasn't. Michigan and Pennsylvania were closer than expected. So, Biden underperformed in a lot of ways. But this time, the referendum is on Joe Biden. It's on Biden in 2024. It's not on Trump this time. It's going to be on Biden. And, this time, excuse me, this time, Joe Biden is going to have, more than likely, I guess, he's not going to have a pandemic or an severe economic depression level collapse skewed in his favor. And, I'm kind of confused by this, because a little bit bewildered, because usually when we have a rematch of political opponents, usually the opponent that's the incumbent has the advantage of the power of the incumbency. And usually that candidate performs even better than the last time that they faced off. This may not be the case. One thing about Trump, man, he has a very, very solid base. Even with all of the scandals, he will, I think, still be, if he wins the nomination, he will still be a very formidable candidate. And I have a sinking suspicion that if Trump does get the nomination again, I have a sinking suspicion that his running mate may be Marjorie Taylor Greene. And if that's the case, he'll really be catering to the base. And I'm just saying some things that, I'm just preparing people for what could occur. All right? Not saying that it's going to happen, but this is something that could occur. Trump is very popular with his base. Marjorie Taylor Greene is even more, in some ways, endearing to that base than maybe Hair Trump. And I'm saying that for a reason. I just seen a recent poll where 40% of Democratic voters, let me say this clearly, I just saw a recent poll where 40% of California Democratic voters say that Kamala Harris should not run for president. The looniest, tooniest, super leftiest state in the union, where she hails from, a solid 40% of those polled and who were Democrats said that she shouldn't run for the presidency. If you don't think Joe Biden is being hurt by her, aside from all the other things that he's done and or implemented that aren't popular with voters, I don't know, man. Joe Biden may end up being a one-term president. I mean, it's too early to say or to tell. It really is, because a lot can happen between now and Election Day 2024. A lot can happen. So these polls are just a snapshot in time, and are not anyway indicative of what's going to happen a year and a half from now. But they're a little bit concerning if you're Joe Biden. I mean, when you think about it, Joe Biden's poll numbers really don't go anywhere. They don't move. I mean, they've upticked a bit. They're not as low as they were, say, a year ago when they were in the mid-30s or upper 30s. Now he's sort of in the low 40s, but it's just interesting because when Trump was president, and you guys know I'm not a Trump fan. I can't stand the guy. But it's interesting, though, that when Trump was president, the media always mentioned his polls. Oh, a new poll showed Trump down to 40%. A new poll, Emerson's poll, Quinnipiac poll, a Gallup poll, a strip poll. Barber poll came out and said that, they don't do that with Biden. They don't mention any polls. They did when he first became president, when he was polling in the upper 50s and 60s. But since he's plummeted to below 50, nope, they don't talk about his polls anymore. But anyway, just want to do this video just so that people... Oh, one warning sign for Trump, though, is they're still under 50% in that poll. So by no means is his support overwhelming either. It's just that he, if you go by the polling, he has a more enthusiastic base than Biden. But if you also look at that polling, that means that 13% of those polled are undecided. So there you have it. But anyway, that's all I got to say in this video. Tell me what you guys think.